I hate it so much when I want to use a filter and it doesn't work. It works other times. It works if I'm filming something. It works if I'm making a post. But God forbid I try to do a live stream like I'm doing right now and your fucking filter won't work. See, I can't, like it says, show your palm. What, talk to the hand? What do you want, you fucker? Just let me use a green screen. So the closest thing that I can get, and this is going to make your eyes bleed. Let's see, where is it? Is it this one? Like, look at this. It looks so awful, dude. I don't know, whatever. So, hey, it's... Wait, hold on. It's me. At the Fourth Wall Cafe. That's me. That's me. And this where I be. Where's my hand? Where's my hand? That's this where I be. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm doing that. Yes! I have a lot of work to do to get ready for that. It's an 8-minute set, so it's relatively long for me, you know, because normally I do about 5-minute sets, so doing 8 minutes, and it's all trashing the billionaires. Fuck. I am so ready to do this stuff. I've been practicing this stuff over the last couple of weeks. How do I get rid of this? Fuck. There we go. Is it gonna go away? Uh-oh. What'd I do? Uh-oh. Okay, whatever. I don't know what it's doing. Anyways. So yeah. That's me. And $15 ticket leap. Fourth Wall TV! It's gonna be tomorrow. Looking forward to that. All just new stuff. Trashing billionaires. I have not done this material for a live crowd yet. I've just been kind of workshopping it, and I finally think I have it down. I think I got it nailed. I think I got some really good topical stuff. I think I got some really good quotable moments. I have 2 jokes in there that I think are going to be very tweetable. Let's just say that. So we'll see how that goes. So, that's me. That's me. Right there. That's where I be. Anyway, enough of that shit. Let's get down to business. How do I turn off this filter? Oh no! My boomerism is kicking in. No, seriously, how do I turn off the filter? Houston! We have a problem! Okay, effects. None. It's just my face. Oh man, like I said, that shit was like... I was about to have a seizure just looking at that. Okay, so... The biggest news for me, at least today, is that a judge ruled that Mahmoud Khalil can't... Jesus, kick everything, why don't you? Mahmoud Khalil can be deported. It is an atrocious, fascist-friendly ruling. Fortunately, it's just an immigration judge who is a total hack and is a product of the system, and it can be appealed, so Mahmoud Khalil will now go to federal court, which is a much better venue than an immigration judge, who is basically on the same side as ICE to begin with. So he ruled that Mahmoud Khalil, and I got to go through this because otherwise the TikTok censorship hammer will come for me. Mahmoud Khalil can be deported despite the government in their own filings admitted that he did nothing wrong, and admitting that it's just for free speech, which is a total First Amendment violation to target him for his free speech. Of course it is. This is literally why the First Amendment was written by our founding fathers. Marco Rubio was the one saying that it's against the government's interest. It's against the government's interest to be against a genocide. The absolute brain rot of these MAGA morons in the far right wing it's Zionism and this whole Israel is never wrong shit rots your brain. I mean, it just has the most polluted, toxic, humanity unfriendly place to be. I could not imagine being in little Marco's head right now. There's a lot of space in that empty head of his to begin with, but now you've got that empty head being filled with a shitload of brainworms. So despite the government admitting that he has done nothing wrong, they have provided no evidence. They have charged him with absolutely 0 crimes. It is pure vibes of fascism. This is exactly what the Reich did in 1930s Germany. This is exactly what they did. They targeted people, minorities, people from vulnerable groups, and they didn't even charge them with anything that was real. They just put vibes out there. They put bullshit out there. They threw a bunch of shit at the wall to see what would stick. And you can see the MAGA morons right now, cheering for it. Whereas, if they had been charged, if the shoe were on the other foot, they would absolutely be against it. They'd be calling Biden a fascist, Kamala a fascist, all this other stuff, and they would be right. Because that is the point of the First Amendment, is that they have a right to say the stupid, awful, horrible, bootlicking bullshit that they believe in, as does Mahmoud Khalil, who is actually an American and believes in freedom of speech, believes in democracy, and that we shouldn't be bombing children. Probably more American than what these fascists in these comments think. Really, everything that's happening right now is less Darth Vader fascism and more dark helmet dipshittery. Like, seriously, they're coming in and it's like, they got their masks on, like, I can't see shit in this thing. What the fuck? I guess that's actually, is that Django? That's Django. I never saw Spaceballs. I just know he comes in and he's got the mask on and he's bumping into shit and he can't see things. And that's really kind of what we're getting into. These people are morons. They don't know what they're doing. That's why 75% of the people that they kidnapped and sent to, their concentration camp version of Auschwitz in El Salvador, 75% of them are totally innocent people. In fact, this is the one that came up right now. We have these innocent people being kidnapped, and keep in mind that Trump's crime cabinet of corruption has done more crimes just today than any of these immigrants that they have kidnapped and sent to their concentration camps have done in their entire lives. All of those people that they have kidnapped and abducted and sent to the gulags have combined have done less crimes than Trump in one single day at any point in his regime. So let's just start there. So if really they were the problem was crime, Trump would be the first person to be deported. They would haul him out by his little tiny orange hands and he'd be gone. He could go back to Russia or wherever the fuck he gets his rubles from, and he would be out of our hair. So here's an example of how completely incompetent these clowns are. A woman was deported because she is on an arrest record. Not that she was arrested, not that she was charged. She is on an arrest record for breaking the nose of her rapist. She broke the nose of her rapist. And they took her away thinking that she was a criminal. These people are incompetent. They are clowns. They are fools. They are jokes. And they should be treated as such. And we need to stop bowing down in advance to these absolute cowards. For example, here's a great way of how to fight back. There was a family in Sackett's Harbor where ICE kidnapped several children. I think it was 3 children in that area. It's a town of about 1,500 people. 1,000 people rallied, protested, marched, put pressure on local authorities. They put pressure on ICE, and those children were recently released back into their families' homes. That is the kind of activism that we need. So if you know of someone in your university that's been kidnapped by ICE, you need to rally. You need to start marching. You need to start protesting. Go to City Hall. Occupy these council members' offices, go outside their houses at 6 in the morning with bullhorns and noisemakers. They should not know a moment's peace as long as the Magagestapo is out here kidnapping children. And what is it with MAGA's obsession with children? First you got Matt Gaetz basically soliciting minors to have sex and getting away with it, and now ICE is doing the same thing in like school parking lots with like, hey kids, you like candy? Well, get in my windowless van. That's what ICE is doing right now. It's absolute groomer behavior. And it makes sense that it's coming from the right wing, being the folks that back the Catholic Church. So here's the other thing. A lot of these campuses right now are capitulating to these fascists. So you have, I believe it's Columbia, Harvard, NYU, UCLA, USC, and a couple others that are basically giving ICE carte blanche to do whatever in the fuck they want and just come onto campuses, and they have said that they will not notify students when these Gestapo are there. So, and what does that do? Even after doing that, guess what? Columbia is still getting its grants reviewed. The Trump regime is still putting their grants on hold. So good, congratulations. Congratulations, you played yourself. It does no good to bow down to these bad faith fascists who are never going to follow through on their word, because no matter what you do, no matter how much you beg, plead, and pander and kiss the fucking orange ring, it's not going to make any difference. They're still going to come after you because it's never enough. It is never enough because fascists' entire persona, the reason they're able to maintain power is by picking on people weaker than them. Which is ironic that these massive universities, giant thought centers, places with huge cultural implications with massive funding. All these places that actually have power and have a way to fight back, they could fight this stuff in court. They could file lawsuits, but instead, all these macho people that think they're so brilliant and can lead the next generation of students into the future are showing exactly why people are fed up with the college system in this country. Because you rip us off, and then you screw us over, and even then you turn around and turn us over to the Magagestapo. It's bullshit, and we should not be tolerating it from these people. They have endowments. They have billions of endowments, hundreds of millions of endowments that could cover these funding cuts. So why are they not doing it? The fact is they agree with it. That's why. They should be ousted, and we should be making efforts to boycott these folks and make sure that they never have a moment's peace ever again. Again, and same thing with the law firms. These law firms that capitulated, what was it? Pierce Williams or something, and then there were a bunch of other big law firms that capitulated. Kamala Harris's husband is a member of a law firm that just completely caved. I mean, they didn't even have to get served with the notice from Trump. The process server or whomever came to his firm's door and they're like, yeah, we'll do what you want. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, hands up. Yeah, please, come on. Please, here, I'll bend over for you. Yeah, it's right here. That's the hole you want. That is what Kamala Harris's husband did. I can't say that I'm glad she lost, because we would be better off. Of course, everything in Gaza would still be a shit show, but we wouldn't be dealing with what we're dealing with now. But the fact that she lost, and we now see that this is the kind of moral courage that we would have been seeing from these folks, absolute just capitulation and cowardice is what we would have been seeing. The fact that Doug Emhoff has not resigned from that law firm shows exactly why Kamala Harris was not the candidate. It shows exactly why this current class of the Democratic leadership must go if there's any hope to save our republic. And everyone that always, you get the MAGA morons in here always calling it Trump derangement syndrome. Let's keep in mind that the last person, Jason Eichhorn, the Republican legislator who tried to introduce TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, as a mental illness, was caught the next day soliciting a minor. So just remember, every single person saying that you have TDS is a pedophile. Very easy way to look at it. Not only that, but these people who are calling TDS, they are the book burners, okay? These are the goose-stepping book burners club, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're stomping on the Constitution. They're the freedom haters of America, is what they really are. Because deporting a person based on free speech is pure fascism. It is un-American, and if anything, we should be deporting those folks. And that's the other thing we need to remember here, is that at the end of this all, there's two... Actually, you know what? I'm going to come back to that point, because that's the note I want to end the stream on. Nationwide protests at the end of it all are not enough. We need direct action. And as I was saying, direct action is like what those folks did in, what was it, Sackett's Harbor, New York. 1,000 people rallying around these children that were kidnapped by ICE. That is some direct action. That is what you can do. You can take a specific target and you go after it relentlessly and you shut down their ability to do operations. And that is how you can have a bigger impact than these nationwide protests, these 50501 protests, which are important. Don't get me wrong. It is a very crucial element of our democracy, but it is not enough. There needs to be direct, specific, targeted action. We need to find out who these Zionist criminals are that are advocating for these folks to be deported. We need to find out the places where these ICE Gestapo folks leading this charge live, and we need to be disrupting their homes. We need to be bullhorning them at 6 in the morning so that they know that the people are aware. There is direct action that we can be doing, and Sackett's Harbor is a great example of that. Most important, stay out of custody. What is the point of these performative arrests? Are basically just Cory Booker's filibuster, quote unquote filibuster. It's performative. It doesn't do you any good when there is much better use of your resources than spending your money on a lawyer because the state is going to try to jam you up on a bunch of bullshit charges. So stay out of custody. If an unlawful gathering, an unlawful protest is declared, don't stand there and make a hassle out of it. disperse, reorganize, and go somewhere else. Many people are saying that this is the route to take when you're protesting. There's a lot of again, these are all facts. The police here in LA have said themselves that they can manage a single protest of 10,000. They cannot manage 10 protests of 1,000. So we should not be having these massive gatherings downtown. We should be having multiple gatherings throughout the city. Downtown, Hollywood, El Segundo, Santa Monica. Disperse, gather, just don't make it easy to get in their hands. You do no good by getting arrested unless you have privilege. One of the best actions that I ever saw was that football player, the Hall of Fame guy, I think he was a punter, right? Gave a big speech at a city council meeting, or maybe it was a school board meeting, in favor of trans folks. I believe that was the topic. And then, you know, does about a 2 to 3 minute speech about that, and then he goes and says, now I will engage in the time-honored tradition of being arrested for my beliefs. And he walked up in front and he put his hands up and he let himself be arrested. That is the time to do it. When you have that kind of privilege, that kind of wealth, that kind of status, you can get away with that kind of stuff. But for other folks like us, we can't get away with that. So don't do that. Don't make it easy for these folks. Don't let them put your hands on you. There are two very important words when it comes to what we are seeing with these atrocities that are happening that are absolutely reminiscent of Nazi Germany. And those two words to remember when all this is over, when we have won and we have taken back our fucking country, are Nuremberg and Hague. That's what we need to make sure happens at the end of it all. All right, there's some comments here. What am I missing? Dipshit, dipshit, dipshit. That's what we did here in Jersey. We had multiple protests in a bunch of different cities. Many. Good to hear. Gina Cardenas 13. Good to hear. That is the way, as they say in The Mandalorian, this is the way. That's the way to do it. It's going to take direct, targeted action in order to free these folks and in order to get our democracy back from these fascists. Thank you for the heart, Gianna. BLM never left.